What's up, everybody? Bryan Hornung here with Xact IT Solutions, bringing you another edition of Guess Who Got Hacked and Breached this week. Today is Wednesday, September 9, 2020. We're going to head through and get through, looks about like I got 6 hacks on tap this week, 6 breaches that happened in the last week. A lot of these you're not going to be surprised about. I talked about a lot of this stuff in my previous videos. K through 12 schools. Big targets in the last week, since school started in the last 3 weeks to a month now. Another IT managed security company got hit, and then a hospital system, and then a charity nonprofit was hit in Maryland for the tune of $7.5 million. So let's get into it. All right, so we got Pickens School prepares for a second day of e-learning following a cyber attack. This is in South Carolina, and students and teachers of Pickens County are preparing for their second day of e-learning after a cyber attack left them unable to log in for 2 hours yesterday. District spokesperson John Eby said that the web filtering service the district uses was the victim of a distributed denial-of-service attack. DDoS flooded the filtering service with traffic, shutting it down. That left students and teachers unable to log into any district portals for about 2 hours Monday morning. And they go on to say the reason it's so bad for us is this is our first day of remote learning for students in grades 3 through 12. Eby said to Fox Carolina Cruise on Monday, we were taking a 2-week sort of break from in-person learning and doing remote learning today, so the timing really couldn't have been worse. So K through 12 schools, as I noted in a previous video, which I'll link in the description below. K through 12, you're a huge target right now. You're getting hit with not only ransomware, but denial-of-service attacks. Denial-of-service attacks seem to be the choice to go for hackers to go to at this point in time, as schools are trying to ramp up. They're trying to disrupt things and make things stressful and annoying to students, staff, and administrators. That's why it's important to make sure you understand what your threat landscape is and what your impact is to not only your school but the community that you serve. Make sure that you're evaluating all this and that you fully understand the risk going into it. That's what we can learn from this attack here. Yes, it was on a third-party company, but unfortunately, you have to evaluate the vendors and the people, especially in a service like this, where the internet traffic essentially flows through it. And when that's not accessible or that's not functioning, makes it very difficult for users to interact with teachers and whatever staff maybe within the district network and things like that. So we have another attack on Hartford Public Schools up in Connecticut. So this was the other day. A ransomware attack forced officials to cancel Hartford Public Schools' first day of school. There was no in-person or online classes on Tuesday for Hartford Public School students. Late in the afternoon on Tuesday, school leaders said all systems impacted were restored and that classes would begin on Wednesday. A letter to the parents said, "Let's try this again. We are pleased to announce that the Hartford Public Schools will start school for both online and in-person learning tomorrow, Wednesday, September 9, 2020. We regret that the unexpected delay and deeply appreciate your patience and flexibility as we resume our plans to welcome all our students back to school." During a Tuesday morning news conference, Mayor Luke Bronin said that it was unclear when the school would be able to begin following the attack. More than 200 of the city's 300 servers were affected. One of the impacted areas included the communication of the transportation routes to bus companies. So that was the big attack here. It delayed school. It delayed issues with the transportation in order for the students to get to the school. The systems were down. It appears that they're going to be back up and running today, which is a good thing. It seems like they had a good recovery plan in place. However, you always, with a ransomware attack, you have the risk of data or whatever was stolen during the attack to be released out on the dark web or sold on the internet. We also have 2 Ventura County schools out in California. They were the victims of a cyber attack that briefly affected internet service Friday morning at Ventura and Conejo Valley Unified School Districts, according to officials. David Shermer, Director of Communications for Ventura County Office of Education, said there was a denial of service attack targeting Ventura Unified that disrupted internet service at the district sites from around 9 to 10:45 a.m. Not a huge attack here, but just another example of a K through 12 school being attacked with a DDoS, just like the Pickens one that we reviewed earlier. And unlike Hartford that got attacked with ransomware, again, this is DDoS. It affects internet traffic. When an attack happens, like a DDoS attack, it makes it very difficult for people to access the things that they want to access until that attack is mitigated. So now we're going to go into an attack against cyber threat startup Cygilant. And they are a startup threat detection cybersecurity company. And they have confirmed that they were a victim of a ransomware attack. The chief financial officer at the company said in a statement that the company was aware of a ransomware attack impacting a portion of Cygilant's technology environment. Our cyber defense and response center team took immediate and decisive action to stop the progress of the attack. We are working closely with third-party forensic investigators and law enforcement to understand the full nature and impact of the attack. Cygilant is committed to the ongoing security of our network and continuously strengthening all aspects of our security program, the statement said. So it's believed that they were the victim of the NetWalker ransomware-as-a-service group, which lets threat groups rent access to its infrastructure to launch their own attacks, according to Brett Callow, a ransomware expert and threat analyst at security firm Emisoft. The file encrypting malware itself not only scrambles a victim's files, but exfiltrates the data to the hacker's servers. The hackers typically threaten to publish the victim's files if the ransom isn't paid. Groups permanently dislist companies when they've paid, or in some cases, temporarily delist them once they've agreed to come to the negotiating table. So essentially, these hackers can go out to the dark web. They can basically let the dark web know that they've ransomwared your company, and there's potential here that we're going to release information, or we're going to, put information out on the dark web. And when they do this, they kind of put the carrot out there saying, hey, we've compromised this company. They're not negotiating with us. They're not taking us seriously. And then that gets the rest of the dark web's attention, because they can either help further the attack, or they can sit there and wait for data to be exposed and then use that data for their own purposes. And that's what happened here. Cygilant came to the negotiating table. The information was taken down off the dark web. And I'm sure that Cygilant at this point is doing everything that they can to mitigate the damages caused by this ransomware attack. I will provide an update on this company to see how they were attacked once we are debriefed on how they were attacked and what went down inside of the network. We will definitely update everyone on this, since it was a cybersecurity company. Now we have a data breach over at Roper St. Francis Hospital that affects 6,000 patients. Roper St. Francis Hospital has reported that 6,000 patients are directly affected by a data breach that allowed attackers to steal their medical records and other personal information. Healthcare private data is one of the most valuable commodities on the black market. It might seem odd that medical information is useful for anyone other than parties and doctors, but reality points in the other direction. One reason why healthcare data is so valuable is that it usually contains much more than just lab results. Hospital gathers social security numbers, credit card information, real names, addresses, emails, etc. And since healthcare institutions invest very little in cybersecurity, the industry is one of the hardest hit. Wow, that's damning as heck. You just got called out because you don't spend enough on security as an industry, the hospital industries. And I will link my YouTube video from earlier this year where I said hospitals are a big target. And a huge target. And this is why, because they don't spend enough on cybersecurity services and cybersecurity tools that are needed to protect their hospitals and their patient data. So they're a huge target, and the information that a hacker can get once they're in there is right full of information that they can either use to steal someone's identity, to take out loans, or just use that identity to get credit cards and things like that. It's a treasure trove of information that somebody could use to do a lot of damage to a lot of individuals. And in this case, there's 6,000 individuals whose information is now compromised because of this breach. And the last one I'm going to jump into here is that the hackers steal $7.5 million, just $7.5 million, from Maryland nonprofit by compromising employees' personal computers. Now here we go. This is the stuff I've been warning people about since COVID-19 hit, that the home and the home user is now going to become a target. And when we built infrastructure around centralized security since the inception of computers, and now we have to build distributed securities across multiple networks, and networks that, quite frankly, IT people don't have much control over when people are working from home and they're allowing the use of the home network and the home internet to access the company network and company data. So let's jump into this one a little deeper. And it says a hacker stole $7.5 million from the endowment funds of the Jewish Federation of Greater Washington, a nonprofit from Maryland in the U.S. Such security incidents perfectly illustrate the dangers of working from home, as the hacker compromised the personal computer of an employee working remotely. CEO Gil Prius made the announcement on a virtual call with employees, according to a report from the Washington Post. While the FBI is now investigating, the agency refused to comment. The little information shared by the nonprofit indicates that other funds belonging to the organization remained untouched. The hack was only discovered on August 4th by a security contractor who noticed unusual activity in an employee's email account. Preliminary information showed that the hackers had access to the system long before stealing the money, as early as the first months of the summer. The organization has only 52 employees, and they are no longer allowed to use personal computers for work. The investigation continues as the security specialists take a closer look at systems and servers. An audit will determine if the hacker compromised or stole more than $7.5 million. It's heartbreaking and devastating in so many ways, said the CEO. It's the combination of how could this happen, how could it be prevented, and how do we make sure we can still focus on the critical issues in front of us. So many people from working from home. Cybersecurity has become the new challenge for IT departments. It is difficult enough to secure corporate issued hardware, let alone personal computers and devices of employees. Such incidents are rarely random, with threat actors directly targeting people within organizations who have access to financial accounts. Not using personal devices for work should be a bare minimum for a company or nonprofit with people working remotely. A close second is mandatory cybersecurity training for employees. And I'm going to add to that, a close third is two-factor authentication on pretty much everything you do. Nobody should be able to access your email, your computers, your websites, your VPN without two-factor authentication on top of that login. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, we hear it from your employees that this is so inconvenient and time consuming if we have to add this and add an extra step. But when you take away security to satisfy convenience, you're probably doing the wrong thing. And I've mentioned that before in our videos, and you see this here as a live example of why not allowing your employees to use their home computers to access work things is paramount, because a hacker could be sitting on your employees' personal computers and using that computer to gain access to your network, to gain access to your email system, to gain access to, whatever tools you use to run your business, your Salesforce, your CRM, etc., etc. They will take that information, they'll steal it, and they'll use it against you. So I hope you found this information again this week interesting and helpful. There's attacks every week. I will use this platform to shine a spotlight on them for you. All that I ask from you in return is that you hit that like button and that you subscribe to our channel, because that helps us become more popular on YouTube, and that helps us spread the word for cybersecurity. I don't make any money from this channel. I don't intend to. I only have like 50 subscribers as of today. So my hope is that you'll catch this video and something will educate you or bring something to light that you were unaware of when it comes to running your business and the threats that are out there and the things that you need to do around securing your computers and the data that you're entrusted by your clients and customers to hold for them. Take care, everyone. I look forward to bringing you more hacks and breaches next week.